Yo, what's going on guys, it's Bertrude, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing some invasions as the devil himself, so I've not got much else to say besides, welcome to hell. So this is a level 60 build, we're going with 40 vigour, 18 strength, 16 dex, which is the minimum we need for our weapons, and then 40 faith. In our flask, we're using the Flame Shrouding crack tier to boost our fire attacks, and we're using the Opaline hard tier for the damage negation. And here's a quick look at the armour and talismans that we're using on the build. The weapons we'll be using on this build are two Inquisitor Girindol spears. These are really good spears, they do fire damage, and they also have the added bonus of doing bleed build up. To complement the weapons on the build, we've got a selection of fire-based incantations, the first one being Flame Grant Me Strength, just for the damage buff. After this, we've got Giant's Flame Take Thee, which is capable of doing some crazy damage, as I'm sure you all well know. As well as this, we've got Inescapable Frenzy. I just think this really suits the build. The thought of Satan latching onto you to suck out your soul just fits really well. And then after this, we've got Surge or Flame. You know, it's just a good way to finish people off who are at low health, but it's quite a difficult incantation to use. And then the last feature on this build is that we have the option to use the Regal Omen Bear. And that's the build, guys. It's really fitting for the time of year. It's coming up to Halloween, so who better to invade with than Satan himself. Anyway guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the content. But besides that, it's time for you lot to get your feet up, relax and enjoy the video. Now then guys, as you're probably well aware, something that I'm always talking about within my videos is how I love to make character builds. It's something that I thrive to do every time I put a new build together. I try to give them a personality, I try to give them a theme, something that runs throughout the character that sets them aside from the average build that someone might just throw together. You know, if they want to use a specific weapon, if they want to use a specific armor set, that's all good, but I like to just give them that little bit extra that sets them aside from that style of play. And who better to encapsulate this than El Diablo himself, the Dark One, the Overlord, the Horned Mischief Maker, the Devil. You know, it's nearly Halloween and it's just a perfect build to be invading with at this time of year. In terms of providing this build with a theme, I think it's quite obvious in how I've done that. You know, the things that I've chosen to include, we've got a few fire-themed incantations. Obviously, you know, the devil, hell, flame, it all kind of goes together. And then when you look at his weapons, the two spears that he's using, the Inquisitor Girindols, I don't know how else to put it besides that I think they look quite Satan-y, Satan-like. You know, I think if El Diablo here did decide to come to the lands between and reap some havoc, the Inquisitor Girindol spears, you know, I think they do really suit his character. They're a weapon that I could definitely imagine the devil using. I was quite surprised that the Inescapable Frenzy actually did latch on to the summon there in this invasion. It kind of looked like it was going to miss, but it's a bit of a weird one. Sometimes, you know, you've got to take into perspective the connection between you and whichever player you're facing. I think in terms of the grab attacks, like, you know, the Inescapable Frenzy, I think connection plays a big role in it. It looked like it was going to miss, but it did latch on. A really cool incantation to use on this build, as I said in the intro, it's kind of like, you know, we're grabbing them and latching onto them and actually sucking out the soul through their eyeballs. And I do think that is a very fitting move to use on this build. I do think it's something Satan would do, and it inflicts madness, and you know, if Satan doesn't inflict madness, then I don't know who does. I just love the fashion on this build. Every time I spawn in and I see the Inquisitor Girindols, we see our horns at the big cape. I'm really pleased with the fashion on this one. I think it just looks superb. So we're faced with this duo here on Storm Hill, just giving them a bit of a wide berth for now. You know, sussing them out a little bit, trying to get an idea of what we're dealing with. We've already seen that one of them's using the Blasphemous Blade, and he's got some high faith there, using quite an end game an endgame incantation. We hit them with the Regal Omen's Burn quite early. It's a really good spell for causing the distraction. Well, it's not a spell, is it? It's like part of your equipment bar that you can get. But it's a very good tool to use, especially on this build. I do think it looks really good on this build, and it suits the theme again. A load of dark spirits bursting out your chest. You know, it's very hell-like, isn't it? It looks good. But yeah, bit of pressure on this summon here with the spears. Remember, we've got that blood tick building up as well, and we managed to get one big final porg on the summon there to take him out. We're making use of the Regal Omen Burn again there to chase down the horse. It's a really good tool to use for a distraction, as I said. It gets them on the toes because they're worried about the dark spirit-like orbs that are chasing them down. And as they're worried about that, we can use that to close a bit of space ourselves, or maybe hit them with a Giant's Flame Take Thee, or, you know, any other kind of offense that we want. This is turning into quite a cool little one-on-one between me and the horse. We're both using weapons that have the bleed build-up, so we've both got to watch out for that. It's turning into a little bit of a battle of spacing and timing. It's just a case of who's going to get that big blood proc first and get the kill. As you can see, we did get a blood proc on us, but we had enough health left to survive it, and we followed that up with an attack on the horse, which blood procs on him, but he didn't have the health to survive, and we get the win in the invasion. I've spawned into the academy and I noticed straight away that the horse isn't in the area. Judging off the compass, I expect him to be stood literally outside the fog wall, so I use the bloody finger to reposition and try and catch him up or intercept him on his way to the boss. After repositioning, it turns out I actually beat the horse up to the fog wall, so I've got to act fast and take advantage of my position in this invasion. I call the lift up and it turns out that the horse and his summons are actually on it on the way up, so I can give them a nice little welcome present when they arrive. Now, this is the first invasion that I had against this duo over the course of this invasion session. I actually fought these two quite a few times. This isn't the only time you'll see them in this video. They do make a reappearance later on. I had quite a good few fights with these two. I think I invaded them 5 to 6 times over the course of my session. It was clearly using the Taunter's Tongue, and I really like the playstyle. You'll see in this invasion that they're hyper aggressive. You know, they weren't messing about. They're not using crazy setups. They're using quite honest setups, which I respect. And like I say, you can see how aggressive they're being, and I do respect that about these two players. It was very obvious early on in this invasion that these two weren't going to give me any time or space to work with my incantations whatsoever. If I tried to get a Giant's Flame Take Thee off against these two, they'd just rush me down and stun me out the animation. The same goes for the Inescapable Frenzy. I've just got no chance of landing it. And in this situation against hyper aggressive players like these two, Surge or Flame is just useless. So I knew that I've got to rely on my timing, rely on my spacing, and rely on my weapons to get the work done in this invasion. As you could see there, we do get an invader with us to help out, and that takes the attention of the summon, so it means I can focus on the horse and try and get the win. Really good invasion, even down to the death there when the horse was on his own in a one-on-one with me. He didn't have his summon backing him up. He still kept the same playstyle. It was still really aggressive, and he still brought the fight to me. GG's guys, that was a really good fight. This invasion turned out to be absolutely epic. We've spawned in here at the Windmill village, and we've located, at least for now, who I did think was the horse. It actually turns out that this player was just a summon, but at this point in the invasion I had no idea how many players were in there, who was what was who, and it turns out that he was just a summon, as I said. But we've got another player to deal with there now, so there's 2 of them, and that's 2 players that I've got to focus on. We send out the Omen Burn there. It's just a really good tool to use to buy ourselves a little bit of space. We can top our health up, top our FP up, or we can use it to just back up and have a little look around and see if there's anyone else who's going to be joining the party. As you can see there, this player tried his own Inescapable Frenzy, so it's going to be a battle of the Frenzy guys. Whose Frenzy is going to be strong enough? So another player's turned up. and it turns out that it's a 3-on-1, so we've got to be super careful. They're coming at us with a lot of offense. We nearly died there, but we managed to evade any more attacks, get ourselves healed up so the invasion can carry on. You know, I didn't want to go out like that on this one. It's always a challenge when you come against 3 aggressive players like this. I really wanted to see what I could do. I knew this would be a good invasion. I knew that if I could stay alive and really, you know, give them a fight, this could turn out to be a real good one. I've got one of the party down at low health, and I knew that this was my chance to gain a slight advantage in the invasion. I had to kill this guy. I put all my eggs into the basket now. I was going to chase him down no matter what. I had to kill him, and we managed to kill him. That was a big relief. I've got one of the players off my back, and it's given me a bit of space where I can focus on the remaining 2. I've got no idea what happened there with the inescapable frenzy on that player. It was kind of like we got stunned out of the animation, but he was left in the animation. Like I said earlier, it seems like connection is such a big deal with that spell. Bit of a weird one, but it looks rather cool anyway. I've never seen that happen before. But he didn't take any damage from it, so it's kind of pointless. The second summon is being quite aggressive, chasing us up the hill. That allows me to do a nice turn and burn with the Giant's Flame Tatey. It takes a decent amount of damage, and it allows us to get on the front foot and really put some pressure on him with the spears. He's at low health now. One more hit does the trick. That's 2 summons down, so now it's a case of locating the horse, because he did run off. It took me a couple of minutes to find him. He absolutely legged it back up the hill there to the windmills, but I did find him in the end, caught up to him, and look at his health, guys. Absolutely no vigour whatsoever. He needed his daddies, he needed his boyfriends, he needed his girlfriends, and they're both gone. Without them, he was a piece of cake. I spawned into this invasion just in time to see this player taking out the giant there in Liurnia of the Lakes. It was good timing. I'd have really hated to have to jump in and kill the player as he was fighting the giant. Or, you know, maybe I'd have waited and let him kill it. I do have a soft side to me. Anyway guys, we start the invasion off with the Regal Omen Bane there. I often do like to use that to start the invasion. It puts them on the back foot straight away, and it allows us to close the gap, maybe get an attack off with our spears, or maybe launch a Giant's Flame Tatey over. As I said, I've used it, you know, a few times throughout the video so far. It's just a really cool little different type of tool to have in your arsenal. A rare appearance from the Sergio Flame there as well. It's quite a difficult spell to incorporate into a build, guys. I often like to use it when my opponents are at low health. I have got kills that way before, and when you do manage to pull that off successfully and you get the kill with the Sergio Flame, it's super stylish, and it is honestly such a cool way to kill them when they're at low health. But that is very situational. They do have to be really low health, and you've got to kill them before they manage to get a heal off. There's so many different things. See, as you can see there, Sergio Flame, but he actually managed to heal up. It's a very difficult way to get the kill, but like I said earlier, if you manage to pull it off, it's super stylish. This player actually got a little bit caught up on the parries there, which allowed me to get an inescapable frenzy off. And what do you know? This goddamn red stole my chance of killing him. I was absolutely furious at this point. I was boiling, I was steaming at the ears. I had my chance to kill him after a beautiful inescapable frenzy grab, and this muppet of a red spoiled the chance for me. But I keep on the front foot, I go after the blue, but unfortunately the invasion comes to an end there. The horse gets the final blow on us to take us out, and we take the loss. Absolutely fuming, gutted, devastation. I'm going to go and cry in a corner now for a couple of hours. So after the disappointment of the last invasion, I find this duo to take out my frustrations on. Here you go, my friend. Take a Giant's Flame Tatey right to the cranium. Oosh, one shot. That'll do, pig. That'll do. That will do. And your host, you can have some as well if you like. Little poke. Bosh. Level your vigour, my friend. But that's what I needed. Let's get back to winning ways. Let's crack on. If you remember earlier on in the video guys, I had a fight against a duo who I did say I had a few fights against over an invasion session, and I said that they'd be making a reappearance later on in the video. Well, here they are, and they've kept the same style. They're coming at us with that same aggressive play once again, and I absolutely love it. I did enjoy every fight I had against these two over the course of my session for that evening, and it was just great fun. You can see nothing's changed with the way they were approaching the fight. They're just coming at me, balls to the wall. Let's have it. I managed to get a nice turn and burn against the summoner that does a good chunk of damage. I thought this might have been my opportunity to take him out, but he manages to heal up. I've got to back up because you know they're coming at me with a flurry of attacks. I've got to get my own attacks in when I can, but I've got to be super respectful of these two. If one of them lands, you can be sure that his friend's coming at me with another couple of attacks. Good space in there. I managed to keep the pressure up on this summon. I am eating some attacks of my own, which is inevitable when you're fighting such aggressive players, but a good bit of space in and we managed to kill the summon. Once again, the host is sticking with the same aggressive playstyle even though his summon's just died. He's not running off, guys. He's not running to get back to the grace and re-summon. He's in it for the long run. He's in it for the fight, and he's keeping up that aggressive style. He's using his shield well, getting some nice counter strikes in with his shield and his axe. Yeah, I really like this horse, guys. I like his attitude. Even though he is wearing the Radahn armour, I can let him off for that because he's just being such a cool guy. We managed to catch him in the inescapable frenzy, and that sucks away the rest of his life. What a stylish way to end that invasion. GG's boys, I really did enjoy every invasion I had against you over that particular night. I invaded this solo player here and he was called I Am Tooth Decay. We have a good little fight here. He's using the Dragon's Halberd. He's putting out some big damage. Yeah, this is a good little duel, and this guy turned out to be really cool. Afterwards he messaged me on the Xbox saying that he liked my fashion, he liked the character, you know, so I've got to respect that. He put a nice little smile on my face. I messaged him back and we had a nice little chat. You know, this is a good fight. As I said, he's putting out some big damage with that weapon. I've got to be really careful of it, but on this occasion, a little bit of lag on the last strike here, but I come out on top and we get the win. Now fast forward 24 hours, guys. Literally the next day I'm invading. I'm on another invasion session getting footage for this video, and what do you know, who have we invaded? I Am Tooth Decay once again. As you can see, we both clocked it straight away, dancing and waving and spinning, saying hello to each other, and we're down for another good duel. He hits us with the Ash of War and he does massive damage, follows it up with a running attack and he kills us easy peasy, absolutely destroyed. Gives us a nice little respectful bow and off he goes. I Am Tooth Decay runs off into the sunset. Now guys, this is the last invasion of the video. I hope you've had a good time watching this one. As I said, you know, it's nearly Halloween, the ghouls are out in force, and the leader of all the ghouls has been out in force for this video, Satan. I absolutely love this character. He's a little bit of a difficult build because he doesn't have the biggest resistances with the armour. You know, we're using quite low resistance armour with the cape, but it does really, you know, it really doesn't matter. It's all about the character, it's all about the fashion, it's all about the look and the feel and the play style. So when you look at it like that, it doesn't matter if we struggle with resistances or with armour or poise or any of that, because we're using a build that is a character build. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, if you like the content. We're less than 100 subs away now from 1,000 subs, and that's just going to be an absolutely huge milestone for the channel. Again, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. You lot just look after yourselves, look after each other, enjoy your Halloween, don't get caught out by any vampires or any ghosts while you're out and about. Go trick-or-treating, get loads of sweets, rot your own teeth, never mind tooth decay we just invaded. Go and get some tooth decay of your own through eating all them sweets on Halloween. I know I'll be doing the same. Anyway, take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.